I love the Domino's pizza tracker. Shout out Domino's. Like
I hate Domino's, but I love the tracker.
That's fair. Hey everybody, this is Stephen D. Roche.
This is Taylor Draper.
And this is Dressing for Wellness. Today, we'll be talking about the idea of less is more and how we're implementing that in our own lives and how that will overflow into the brand. So, why should people spend more on an article of clothing and consume less?
Man, there's so many reasons.
There are.
Well, it's kind of funny because specifically with fashion, it's something that's such an impulse buy. Mm-hmm. Whereas I don't feel like we do that with a lot else, like, like maybe some like micro transactions on Amazon and stuff like that.
Sure.
But we don't do that with houses. Mm-hmm. We don't do that with cars.
Yeah. For sure.
I actually just saw a video from Articles of Style talking about the comparison between buying a car and buying clothes. I thought it was pretty interesting.
What did they say?
They were basically just saying, like, why would you buy like a $500 car to get you to the next 3 months every 3 months when you should be looking at like something that will last you a while? Like, and that's like a very common mindset when you're talking about car buying. Yeah. And it's not a common mindset when it comes to clothing for some reason.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Like, is it just like brands like big name brands, I guess, like Gap, American Eagle, those types of things, like mall shops? Like, is it just like, cause like a pair of jeans, say, you spend what, 50, 60, $70 on a pair of jeans nowadays at like a mall. Mm-hmm. And then like for me, like the crotch will blow out like 6 months, maybe a year later, if I'm lucky. Like, why do you think people will keep perpetuating that instead of maybe like going like more like selvage denim if we're just talking about jeans?
Sure.
Like, do you think it's just an awareness thing? Like they don't know it's out there or the options? Like what are your opinions on that?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. Like people aren't educated as much anymore. And that's something that I'd say quite a bit is that we lost the education piece of style and clothing for the most part, like most of our society has lost that. So they've almost been programmed by these fast fashion brands to just be like, oh yeah, a button-up shirt should cost like $30 to $50. Yeah,
that's the market value.
That's the market value. So like anything else comes as a shock when they see our custom shirts, which I don't feel are bad, but when they see our custom shirts, they're like, why am I spending $125, $150?
Sure.
Which, there's still some designers on Savile Row selling $300, $400 shirts, which is still a good deal in my mind. And the reason is because of the craftsmanship and the fabric and the amount of time and design that it takes to custom make a shirt. Yeah. That's totally a fair price for that. Yeah. But because these huge corporations have kind of just programmed us to be like, this jean should cost you $50, $60. Yeah. Shirt should cost you $30. A t-shirt should cost you $10.
And if you pay any more than that, you're a sucker.
Right.
Yeah. Or you're getting ripped off.
Yeah. And then we look like the quality clothiers look like the bad guys because we're like offering a quality product that's built to last generations. Yeah. If not like decades. Yeah. And then we're just like at the bad guys for like charging what it should cost.
Right. Well, it's not just like I think one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that like even just the stitching on a garment is completely different from like say a $200 shirt and a $50 shirt. Yep. Like sure, they still both use thread, but it's the strength and the construction of that piece that will make it last. Yep. And like jeans, I think everyone can just understand jeans. Like if you bust out like your knee on on a pair of jeans, then, oh, like, I guess these are busted. I'll just throw them away. But with a higher quality denim, you can get that repaired for a fraction of the price. And so, like, because you spent so much, you can repair it, you can fix it, and it'll actually be stronger than before.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that. I think that that's a secondary thing that is lost. I actually saw a documentary on this, and it's just like repair culture is just gone.
Yeah.
In our generation.
My fridge is out. I need a new one.
My fridge is out. I need a new one. Just all that kind of stuff. My vacuum's out. I need a new one.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. And it works the same with clothes. And that's so funny because if you buy a custom piece that's like built for you, like we hand make your blocks and templates, like when you order from us for a custom suit, like we hand draw your templates to your measurement and like make a whole new block for you. Whereas, that's not a thing in non-custom places. And we still have the option of making great ready to wear products. And we have the amazing ability to do the in-between sizes, which not a lot of people offer. So we can, still get it really, really close. But when you buy a custom piece from us through like our digital concierge program or in person, like we really make it custom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of our buttons are hand sewed. All of our buttonholes are hand sewed. Like the pick stitching is all by hand.
Yeah.
Like the fabric is literally cut by a master tailor with giant scissors. and it's all made for you. So so if something happens, like you blew out the crotch or something like that, like you'll want to get it repaired versus want to just buy it. You almost just like, you can't buy another one.
Right.
Well, you could from us, but like, if you're not in a position where you can't do that, it's much better to get it repaired.
Yeah. And like, I feel like the idea of custom clothing, like
where did it go?
Where did it go? And what frame of reference does like the everyman have for that? It's just like, what? Like, I feel like and correct me if I'm off base, but I feel like a lot of people would just be like, why should I care about that? But like how do you educate someone who's just like, I don't need that? Like what would you say to someone?
Well, the thing that I usually say to people that are interested in it is there's a study out there. I'll have to find the exact one. My assistant has it, but there's a study out there that proves that you actually spend more on fast fashion brands in the long term versus a custom piece.
Yeah, totally.
So if you spend, and our custom pieces are actually, I'm sorry, this is kind of sounding salesy already, this whole podcast, but like our custom pieces are already like fairly cheaper than a lot of other custom places out there. And it's because we're like more mental health focused. So like we have the ability to do that kind of stuff. But, like it's so interesting because if you spend $1,200, $975 even on some of our suits, for a completely custom suit, and $975 versus spending $300 at H&M, that suit will last you 10 years.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Whereas.
And how many times are you going to wear it a year?
Yeah. Like how many times are you going to wear? Yeah, exactly. Like I think I just listened to another podcast from Sartorial Talks that we were talking about a little bit earlier, where he was like, I wear like this one custom suit that I have like at least 60 times a year. Yeah. And he like broke down the amount of euros. It was like a $4,000 suit. Yeah. But he was like, I've had this suit for 7 years so far. I wear it about 50 days out of the year. Yeah. And that breaks out to like $3 every time I want to wear it. Yeah. Which is insane. It's crazy. If you think about it in long term, and that's something that Simon Sinek teaches, you always have to be thinking for the infinite. And I think that especially in our industry of like menswear and fashion, like nobody thinks like that. It's just how fast can we design these pieces? Yeah. How fast can we pump them out? And, from the Articles of Style video I watched today, he was saying that the average person buys 64 pieces of clothing per year, the average person.
Jeez.
Whether that's jeans, t-shirts, like suit, whatever.
Yeah.
64 pieces. So you're actually spending more on a car per year on clothing.
Wow. More than a car. You're spending more than a car per year on clothes.
On clothes, yes. And just the average stuff. And it's because you have to replace them so much.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what that number would be if everyone bought custom? Like it'd be a quarter of that.
Well, I mean, like, I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of like, oh, like, look,
so dope.
This would be so cool. I could wear it like this. Oh man, it'd be amazing. I do that.
Totally.
Most of my wardrobe is impulse buys, if I'm honest. This shirt that I'm wearing a green corduroy shirt. I got it in my head one day that like, oh, green corduroy, I want it. And I went on eBay and I got it.
Totally.
And like secondhand, that's a whole nother thing. But like, did I need this? How many shirts do I need? How many pairs of jeans do I need? How many shoes do I need? Mm-hmm. And like when people have their uniform, you know, like that could be like black jeans, white t-shirt, trucker jacket, you know, like whatever it may be. It could be a suit. I am so envious of those people because like how do you cultivate that mindset of less is more in like your day-to-day life? Like,
yeah, and that's a really interesting point that I don't think I've considered before is like the impulse buy versus the planned out, like, let me look at my wardrobe kind of vibe. Because I think the planned out, let me look at my wardrobe vibe is like such a small percent of people that we're trying to get to think about more. Yeah. Like that's one of my missions is to try and get you to think about your wardrobe more. Like how can you have more quality pieces with more interchangeable pieces, you know, so that your wardrobe is just 100% quality. I'm guilty of the impulse buy too, but I think that there's a time and place for it. And I think that if you can kind of know that it's more of a reward system than like a long lasting wardrobe piece.
Yeah. Can you kind of break that down? Like go into that a little more, like the reward system of the impulse buy.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've noticed this about yourself, but when you're impulse buying, it's from emotion. So you're doing it to make yourself feel better. So you're rewarding yourself in some way.
Yeah. So to that point, I'll let you finish if there's more, but to that point though, how like it's just a coping mechanism. It's like, would you think it would be fair to say that the impulse buy is just another way to kind of skim over what's really going on? Like your emotional state, your mental health, like instead of like focusing on like, what's the actual root of why I'm feeling this way?
Yep.
Like, I'm going to buy this thing, you know, and then I'll feel great.
I'm so curious to what it would be like if you specifically in this like green corduroy shirt, like moment, if you would have been like, instead of pressing the buy, like turning to your wife or your friend or like calling me up or something, and just being like, I'm about to like buy the shirt, but I don't know why. Let's talk through it.
Whoa.
And then we could be like, it seems like you're just sad today, my friend.
Sure.
You know, like, let's go watch a comedy or something and like, let's hang out, you know?
Yeah. I wonder
if you wouldn't buy it then, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do wonder. And like, for the record, I wasn't sad when I bought this.
Sure. It was just an example.
Yeah, that's an example. But like, I've done that. Yeah. You know, I explained to you the other day when me and my wife were over, like, yeah, I wanted to buy something because I was sad. I was feeling really low. And you actually invited us over. We looked at what are they called? The Huddersfield.
Oh yeah, we were looking at flannel Huddersfield for this fall collection.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you were super hyped on it, and you were like, "Come over and like be excited with me."
Yeah, I just got this box of fabrics in from Huddersfield, so like a bunch of brand new awesome books.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I was on the couch. I was about to buy something. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was looking for something to consume. And you text me, and I looked at my wife, and I'm like, you want to go over and just hang for a bit? I didn't buy anything. Nothing was bought. Because like that lack that I was feeling, because that moment there was like something was lacking somewhere.
Yep.
And with community, with like friendship, it like filled that gap, that need, that lack, you know?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. I wonder how much of my own wardrobe was like, could have not existed because like,
yeah, I'm curious.
Of like friends. I wonder.
Well, I'm curious, like there's a second part of that too. And I'm curious if you like one, if I'm sure this will bleed over too. So I'm sure if you just recognized that you didn't really need this corduroy shirt, you were just feeling a certain way.
Sure.
But later on the road, you were like, you know what? I really want to plan for a corduroy shirt. And then like, what kind of research would go into that? I wonder, because there would have to be some. There would have to be like, let me look at the colors. Let me see what companies make corduroy shirts that are known for this. And let me see like what the construction is like. Yeah. And now this like $50 corduroy shirt you're looking at on eBay turns into like a $300 one, but has so much more like weight behind that because it was made correctly. It was made to last. It will look better. It will fit better. And it will be a permanent part of your wardrobe that you can now plan around.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder. Like that's a great question, because like I feel like so much of my day-to-day clothes, I'm like, how can I wear this with as much of my other stuff as I can? Like, how can I mix and match this with whatever? And that's new for me.
Well, that's good. I was just about to say, I think that's even a little bit ahead of like where we're at as a society.
Really?
You know? When I feel like that a lot of times when people just buy stuff, they're not even like thinking about what's in their closet currently. Yeah. You know, they're just like, just what you said. Oh, this looks great. Like I can picture myself in this, and then just buy it. Like that's the kind of thing we're trying to defeat by saying, hey, like, let's bring back the patience of custom made clothes and let's bring back the quality so you can invest more into less pieces, and your closet will be a lot more defined and planned out, and you know that it's interchangeable, you know, when you're planning it.
Well, what you just said, it was just one word: patience. Yeah. Like, God. I mean, I'm not a patient person, but I feel like that is a lost virtue in society at large. Yeah. Do you think like if we were more patient that we would not consume as much?
1,000%. Yes. So one of the coolest things as a custom clothier that I've noticed with my clients, especially when it's their first one. Yeah. So it's really funny because you can tell kind of even generationally how people are going to act when they buy their first custom suit. Yeah. So for example, we just did a fitting a couple weeks ago with the guy that was, you know, late 20s, early 30s or something like that, you know, our age, but he's already texted me like 8 times since he purchased that suit. Okay. It's because of patience. Like he doesn't have any. It's not like he's being a jerk or anything about it. Like he's just curious about the process. He's like, hey, where are we at? And I get to explain to him. I'm just like, yeah, man. I always use specific verbiage with this kind of client. I'll always be like, yeah, it's so exciting. Yeah. That you're going to get it soon. Yeah. Like that you're going to get it. Like they know that it takes like 4 to 6 weeks to make a fully custom piece because of everything we had mentioned. Yeah. That goes into it. So it's really funny because when they're like, hey, what's the update? What's the update? Yeah. I'm just like, can you believe that these guys are like hand sewing these things right now? Because I always can see in the back end what's actually happening. Yeah. You know, we have like the Domino's pizza tracker, but for suits. Awesome. So I'm just like, yeah, it looks like this employee on the factory is now sewing this together and blah, blah. So I'll like text him that. I'll be like, how exciting is it that your lapel is being hand cut right now? Like that's the plan for today with your suit. You know? I'm trying to actually bring that to all of our clients and digitally instead of just through our in-person clients, but that's in the works. But
to be continued.
Just to tease a little bit. It is getting close though.
Cool. That'll be huge.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I love the Domino's pizza tracker. Shout out Domino's. Like
I hate Domino's, but I love the tracker.
That's fair. But yeah, that anticipation, that excitement.
Yes, that's the word. The anticipation is like so funny because like you don't get that anywhere anymore. You know what I mean?
True.
Where else do you get that? Like, so it's so funny. Like back to the generational thing. Like I am so used to that though. People in that age group are always texting, whereas the older you get the less text. Like you still get like the 50s, 60s guys that are like excited about it.
Yeah.
And they'll text me, but it's night and day difference in frequency. Like the millennial guys will text me twice a week, whereas the older generation will text me maybe once every 2 weeks to check in on it.
And do you think that is just a generational thing, or is it an age thing, or both?
I think it is a generational thing because I'm not a huge fan of the boomer generation right now, but one of the great things that they had were fathers from an older generation that taught them about something. Yeah. And they taught them patience and they taught them about style and things like that. Yeah. And they didn't grow up with social media. You know what I mean? Where we have everything instantly. I know, it's so funny. My wife and I just had a conversation about that the other day. Like, she was like really upset at one of her friends in the boomer generation. Okay. That's like a part of the family, and was basically just like, why don't they like understand that blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, they didn't grow up with Facebook like we did. Like they didn't grow up with a platform just to share their thoughts. Yeah. So a lot of that friendship between people in that generation, they didn't know all their thoughts, and because they didn't have a stage to do it on until now, you know what I mean? And we just are so used to that with everyone that it tells you what kind of person you are really quickly.
Yeah. I feel like most people are their true selves on social medias, except for maybe Instagram.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Instagram, you get a lot of fakes for sure.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Everyone's trying to be somebody and everyone's not content with who they are.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother
podcast.
For like the person that would be interested in like a custom suit from us, you know, like how could they build or start building a wardrobe around these pieces that we offer, just us specifically?
Yeah. So that's a great question. That's something I'm working on like really hard. I just read you all of my to-do list, and most of them are involving this.
It was incredibly long.
But most of them, like what we're trying to do is I'm trying to build all of our products out with a blank closet in mind. So like when I'm designing, so like what we're trying to do with the releases now is actually go way less. Yeah. So we can say you heard it here first, I guess, but like, instead of just like the summer collection, which I kind of mentioned last time when we broke that down, was that we released like 5 suits with that collection, and all of them were designed with so much care. But I don't feel like, and you know, I don't know this for sure, but I don't feel like people are going to appreciate every single piece of it because there's so much, you know? So I'm going from 4 to 5 suits a collection to 1. Yeah. And making that one resonate with a mental health theme each time, because that's what we do here is we partner with nonprofits once a quarter with the season. We launch a product that's going to enhance that theme that we're going to choose. So we have our 4 themes. I can just say them. So like spring, new beginnings; summer, togetherness, which we just did with this last one. Yep. Fall will be loss. And winter will be healing, and it will be a cycle. And those are going to be our permanent themes for the foreseeable future. I
think that's amazing though, because like that, we were talking about this before we started recording. That is the life cycle of a human existence. Yep. Like, and it just goes over and over and over again. And, that can get tedious, but it is beautiful. And like, I think that makes a whole life.
It does.
All those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so excited for the future of the company because now with these themes and like with just the one suit, like how cool is it going to be to partner with some incredible nonprofit organizations for this theme?
Yeah, huge.
You know? Like I can
it can be so pointed too.
It's so pointed, and we can explore different variations of the theme each year, which is going to be amazing. So like even with this new collection, I think it's going to be, or this new suit that's coming out, I think it's going to be incredible for fall because it's going to be all about suicide awareness.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a heavy one, but it's going to be much needed.
Yeah. I think it's with the state of the world today, it's a much needed conversation. Like I feel like our generation and maybe like generation behind us, younger generation, are just starting to really realize the importance of your mental health and taking care of yourself in that way. And I'm really excited to, for lack of a better term, see like an awakening of that, and like like people going deeper and like dealing with trauma and pain in a healthy, constructive way and becoming better all for it.
Yeah, and just talking about it.
Yeah.
Like that's all we really want to ask of anyone is just to inspire conversations about what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, but like it's, you can do that. You can say, this is how I feel, or this is how you made me feel, or this is how I felt from this thing 10 years ago, you know, like it's okay to, I feel like the, in my mind, at least, like the next like step in like our journey with Inherent is like, it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, and it's important.
Very important.
Because like without vulnerability, there can be no true connection with your fellow man.
Yeah. Like how many friends are you like vulnerable with on a regular basis? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's an interesting question too.
Yeah.
But back to what you were asking about is, so that's like what we're trying to do now is we're trying to develop like 12 shirts.
Yeah.
And we're trying to develop like 4 chinos. And we're trying to develop like 4 shoes.
Yeah.
So that you have like a great diverse wardrobe.
Yeah.
And then like 4 suits a year, you know, 1 for each season. And like you don't need 12 suits a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, you don't.
Sometimes you don't even need more than 1.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. At what point do you think like consumerism sets in? Like with like amounts of like clothes, like number of XYZ.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think that when people just buy clothes, they don't think about what they already have.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
It's just completely out of their mind. So then like fast forward, you know, and now they just they're like getting rid of clothes once a month or something like that.
Taking them to Goodwill.
Taking them to Goodwill.
Wherever.
Or yeah. And that's, you know, good for Goodwill, but like,
sure.
It's sad for the individual because like you should be like, yeah, I know that I have these 12 shirts that will work in any situation, any suit color, any suit pattern. I know that I have like 3 suits that I can exchange the jacket with the pants. I can do the pants with, you know, with the different vest and like all this kind of stuff that you can just interchange. And now you have this like piece that's taking up 10% of your closet physically.
Yeah.
That will last you your life, you know?
Yeah. And even like the environmental impact of consumerism and fast fashion, like there was a study a couple years ago about H&M, I think specifically, and just their clothes filling landfills because they made so much that once the season was over, they just threw it all out, whatever that didn't sell, and that's not even counting however much like people threw away.
Right.
You know, because of a hole or a rip or whatever.
Yeah. And I think something that's important to note as well is that because we're trying to do less is more, it doesn't mean you can't reward yourself with things that you like.
Yeah.
Like absolutely not.
Totally.
You know? Like that's totally a thing that I'm always going to do still.
Yeah.
the only thing that we're trying to say is like, put a little bit more thought into it, you know, the next time you want to reward yourself like that. Like,
in your opinion, and like, what's a practical way that like you do that? How do you do that for yourself?
Yeah. So again, I just really look at my wardrobe and I have like a note on my phone that's just like, I think I started this before my like menswear journey, but it was basically just like every single piece separated, like suits, pants, and then subcategories.
Yeah.
But basically just everything that I wanted, that I loved, and like loved the craftsmanship of, I love the colors, like love the fabrics, like whatever. I have this like giant master note list. So like when I already like planned out and put into and like remove stuff and add stuff all the time. So I know that it's like always that it would be the perfect wardrobe for me personally.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a pretty large list, you know, to be honest with you. So like when I do want to buy something or like I'll want to impulse buy, like if I have the money for it, I will get it from that predetermined list because I've already put thought into it.
Yeah. Okay.
But if it's something that I can't afford at the time, then I'll just know that it's not gonna, you know, and again, I'm not perfect. Like sometimes I'll just buy something that's cheaper that looks similar to something that I want.
Sure.
But like, you know, it's for the most part in a perfect world, I would wait until I could afford it. Cause then I would permanently be checking that off of my list. And there would be nothing to replace that ever.
Yeah. You're not going to have to spend that money again.
Yeah.
For like piece. What you really wanted.
Yeah.
If you're just a little bit more patient.
Yes, exactly. And something, this isn't like, you know, a sponsor or anything like that, but an app that I use to help me is called Capital with a Q. And it lets you set up multiple mini savings accounts, and it like will automatically, like if you spend $1.50 or something, it'll automatically round up to $2 and then put 50 cents into one of your savings accounts.
Okay. And
so you can like set up a ton of rules like that. So I have a few different things where I do that with. So sometimes if I'm saving up for like a really nice watch, I'll like have a watch savings, or like I'll have a travel savings, or I'll have like and you can do it from the app, which is really cool. So sometimes I'll put like pieces of the wardrobe that I really want or that are a higher priority into its own kind of savings goal.
Okay. So just, I guess, prioritizing what you want and what you need, which are very, very different things, I believe, wants and needs.
Sure.
How do you like when thinking about clothes specifically, like what separates a want and a need for you?
Yeah, totally. So it's all about the basics. Again, so like if you have 0 suits, you should save up to get a navy suit first.
Navy. Okay. Yeah. We talked about that on our first episode.
Yeah, I think so. Yep. So buy a navy suit first. And then if you want to buy another suit, like buy a gray one. Yeah. You know, like get your basics down, and then you're going to need button-ups, like button-up shirts to like go with it. So like if you don't have a white one, white goes with everything. Yeah. So get a white one. Next one, get like a blue one, you know, and then you can kind of just build from the basics. Yeah. So that's what I always suggest doing.
Yeah. So a basic understanding of the culture of that you're kind of entering into, whether that's sartorial menswear or streetwear or any sort of like recreational like wear, like hiking or anything like that. Like you need to, there is that knowledge that is needed to know what those basics are.
Yeah, totally. It almost just comes from, what are you going to wear the most? Yeah. Like starting there, like if it's not in suits and it's like, still like an elevated prep style or something, like invest in a really nice pair of chinos, you know? And then if it's more street style, invest in a really nice pair of selvage. Yeah. You know? Yep. Just get the basic staples that you know you're going to wear. Like that's why I say navy, because navy, you could wear that every day for a year and it wouldn't get old, and you could style it 100 ways. You can style it with t-shirts. You can style it with just the pants. You can style it with sweaters. You can it will go with everything.
Yeah.
You know, it is the genes of the suit world, you know?
Sure. And that's like, I mean, that's, the idea of wearing suits a bunch of different ways, styling it different ways, which is something that we're going to be exploring in our future collections because we're only doing the one suit.
Yeah. And that was another opportunity that we saw with moving down from 5 suits in a collection to one, paired with a mental health theme, is that now what do our lookbooks look like? That was one of my first questions after that, you know? I was like, what do our lookbooks look like now? And I thought that this is the perfect time to show the versatility of the suit, which not a lot of people see regularly. You know, when they're on Instagram or they're on Pinterest, they just see the suit like fully decked out and they're like, that looks really cool. What event would I wear that to? And that's the wrong question. You know, it's just like, how many ways can I wear that? How often would I be able to wear that? Should be your first question before you buy a suit, you know? But that's one of the things that I can't wait to show is just like even though we're only doing one suit, I could show you 5 to 10 ways to wear that one suit. Yeah. And it would look killer every time.
And I think with any ensemble, there's countless ways to do it. And whichever ways you do it is totally up to the wearer. Because that is style. How you put together an outfit. Like what kind of shoes you wear with it, how you like if you roll up your sleeves or not, like that's style. How you wear a garment is style. It's not the actual clothes themselves. And I'm really excited to like inspire people to find their own style.
Yep.
And
Me too.
I think that's going to be huge. And I think that will perpetuate this less is more culture that we're trying to build.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like also why we have our 4 different like pinnacle styles in this brand, because it's literally just to help you. Which one of these 4 styles do you identify with the most? And like, which one could you see yourself be? Yeah. And then take it from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I hope this has helped broaden your guys' horizons. I know it has for me. Any final comments and thoughts?
I don't think so. I'm really excited for the future of the company. And I know we mentioned everything about the capsule collections we're doing. Just be patient as we release those, because we're pretty much just trying to release one at a time for a while. Yeah. To build these capsule collections out. But yeah, I think just try and think more and strategize more about your wardrobe.
And be more intentional.
Just be more intentional. And maybe give a second thought if you know you're about to impulse buy. Maybe call someone up on the phone. Yeah. And just say, hey, will you talk to me about my feelings really quick? Yeah. Maybe you're sad, or maybe you're in a different place, and maybe you don't really need that shirt.
Yeah. And if you are in that place, it's always better to reach out to someone and not cover it up.
Yep. Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.